All right, today we're going to pull back the curtain on some pretty cool, kind of invisible tech that keeps your favorite websites working even when your internet decides to take a break. It's a quiet little revolution, but believe me, it is changing everything about how we experience the web.
You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You're deep into an article, you're about to check out, your connection just flickers for a second, and bam! You're staring at that little dinosaur and the no internet connection page. It feels like the digital world just slammed a door right in your face.
But what if I told you that whole frustrating experience could be a thing of the past? Well, there is a technology specifically designed to make sure that door never slams shut. It's a way for websites to stick with you even when your connection gives up the ghost. So what is this hero technology? It's called the service worker. And honestly, the best way to think of it is like a super smart assistant that your browser hires to handle all the important stuff in the background. So what is it, really? Under the hood, a service worker is just one single JavaScript file. But here's the kicker. The browser runs it completely in the background, totally separate from the web page you're actually looking at. Its main job? To act like a proxy, a middleman, sitting right between your browser and the big wide open network. And this is the core idea right here. It's a programmable network proxy. Now, those first two words are the most important part, programmable and control. This isn't just some passive thing. It gets to actively decide how to handle every single request your web page makes.
And having that kind of control, that is a genuine superpower for a website. It completely changes the old relationship between your browser and the internet. Let me just show you what I mean.
This visual says it all. Before, it was simple. Your browser would ask the network for stuff, and the network would send it back. Straightforward. But after a service worker is in place, it jumps right into the middle of that conversation. Now, your browser talks to the service worker first, and the service worker gets to decide if it even needs to bother the network at all. It intercepts everything.
So what can it do with this newfound power? Well, a whole lot, actually. It's the magic behind push notifications that can pop up even when the website's closed. It handles background sync, so if you post a comment on a shaky connection, it'll just wait and send it when things are stable. But the really big one, and what we're focused on today, is offline access. The ability to save a website's files so it works perfectly with or without internet.
Now, a service worker doesn't just pop into existence. It has a whole life cycle. First, a website has to register it, which is basically like telling the browser, hey, here's my new assistant. Then comes the install phase, where it goes and downloads all the important files it's going to need. After that, it has to activate, which is kind of like a spring cleaning, where it gets rid of any old, outdated stuff. And once all that's done, it enters the fetch stage. And this is where it's fully operational, listening for every request and ready to work its magic. Okay, that's a lot of theory. But let's look at how this caching thing actually works in the real world. This is where it gets really cool.
The goal is really simple, right? Just cache all the important pages so that if a user's connection suddenly drops, the pages still load. No error messages, no dinosaur game, just a website that works.
So, remember that install step we talked about? During that step, the service worker gets a shopping list of all the essential files. The main pages, the style sheet that makes everything look pretty, the core JavaScript. It then downloads a copy of every single one and squirrels them away in your browser's cache. And this all leads to the most critical moment, the fetch event. When you try to load a page, the service worker steps in and makes a decision. If you're online, no problem. It'll go out to the network and grab the freshest content from the server. But if you're offline, it doesn't even blink. It just says, I got this, and serves up the version it already saved to the cache. And the result of that one simple, intelligent decision is, well, it's huge. The website just loads. It feels instant, it feels reliable, and it works perfectly whether you're on a plane, in a tunnel, or your router just decided to take a 5-minute vacation. The problem we started with, completely solved. But this isn't just about some neat trick for bad connections. Service workers are a key piece of a much, much bigger puzzle that's making the whole web feel more app-like. Specifically, they are the absolute backbone of something called progressive web apps, or PWAs for short. And if you haven't heard that term yet, you will. In fact, you've probably already used dozens of PWAs without even knowing it. So what is a PWA? It's basically a website that's been supercharged with modern tech like service workers to give you an experience that feels just like a native app you'd get from an app store. This is a game changer. For us, it's amazing. But for developers, it means they can build one thing that works everywhere, on every device, and update it instantly. It's truly the best of both worlds, the reach of the web with the power and feel of an app. So, when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway here? For you, for me, for all of us, it means a web that is way smoother and way more reliable. It means websites that look, feel, and act just like the apps on our phones. And it means having access to information anytime, anywhere. Ultimately, this stuff is making the entire web more powerful and a whole lot more resilient.
And that kind of leads us to this final question, doesn't it? As technologies like service workers just become standard, that line between what we call a website and what we call an app is getting blurrier by the second. Which really makes you wonder, if a website can work offline, send you notifications, and feel just like an app, what's the difference anymore?